Good morning and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Tuesday, February 19th, 2013. Please take a seat on the Liberty bus, settle in, get comfortable, and we'll get rolling. For our first stop, I'm sorry to bring up the T word, but this seems important. Stop the internet tax mandate, and they're asking at Campaign for Liberty for people to get involved and help with that. Seems like a worthwhile cause. And since we already mentioned the T word, might as well dive right in. And this is the time of year that people have this on their minds. Abolish the income tax. I think that's a pretty good idea. You won't believe who is getting away with paying zero taxes while the middle class gets hammered. Ouch. I've been feeling that hammer a little bit. You might get involved in one of the trust organizations, One People's Public Trust or Divine Province, both of whom are helping people learn how to step outside the system. Or, maybe the system will get fixed. Who knows? Rolling Stone politics, gangster bankers too big to jail, how HSBC hooked up with drug traffickers and terrorists and got away with it. I just thought this was pretty cool that Rolling Stone, of course, wasn't born to be mainstream media. It was the radical publication of its day, but it has kind of blended with the mainstream media, and I was glad to see this article. Maybe some people who read Rolling Stone will get a clue, you think? Protocol, Supreme Court update, and Commerzbank AG. There's some stuff going on. You've probably heard rumors that the Supreme Court is looking into Obama's eligibility for office. Something is supposed to happen this week. Will it? Who knows? Pray and hope. Reported 5 of 9 Supreme Court justices not given critical pleadings on recent Obama case. So people are interfering. We need to continue to be very vigorous in our doing whatever it is we do. Talking to people, blogging, writing, thinking, acting, except no violence, which only will cause problems, because we can't rest and assume that everything's going to be all right. We need to keep the pressure up. And this might be one of the acceptable reasons for delay. Acceptable, I don't know, probably not a good word. Acceptable to me. I can understand this. The paradigm shift dilemma. This article is about how it's difficult for people to change. It's difficult to admit they've been wrong. When I first found out about 9/11 being an inside job, it took me about 2 months after I could acknowledge that the evidence was there to actually process and agree that, okay, I was wrong. 9/11 was an inside job, and I bring this up in this context because in the context of the Supreme Court case hearing Obama's eligibility, there are a lot of people in this country who are going to be very upset if and when they very suddenly learn the things that you and I have had months, maybe years to process. And people become angry, people become hostile. If a bridge can be made to people, if they can somehow be prepared, I definitely think that's a good thing. There is a race, though. I mean, with drones being released, and the bad guys keep up the pressure to the very last second. If you look through history, as Hitler was going into his bunker, he was having Hitler Youth patrol streets and things like that. So they don't give up. So this, whatever change comes, can't take a real long time, or they'll destroy us and erode more of our foundations away. But I can understand a gentle change. Well, it's not going to be gentle no matter what, but measured. After Pope falls, British monarchy under severe attack, global turbulence increases. This was from yesterday. I mostly want to focus on the information about the monarchy, because some people are claiming that the British monarchy have actually cuckolded their way into power, that they are not of the true royal line. And some of this information states that those who are the true royal line are going to move back into power, as if this is a good thing. I'm not saying that, I can understand it. However, when you look back through history, and there were some excellent British monarchs who really were proponents of giving the people freedom, and many of the ideas of freedom actually originated somewhere in England. If you get a documentary that has the deep ancient history of England and even the British monarchy, some of them were very noble, wonderful people. But we watched a History Channel documentary over the weekend. I'm not a fan of the History Channel, but it was about the Middle Ages. And one of the learned spokespeople on the documentary said that the churchmen, the priests, suggested that the nobility go and fight the Crusades because they had no gainful employment. They were fighting men, and they were basically pestering the peasants and picking on them, preventing them from getting their work done. So the people who have risen to nobility, many of them have just been aggressive bullies. And do we want to restore England to the rightful aggressive bullies? I don't know. I'm not British. That is for someone else to decide. But I'm not that excited about a change in the monarchy in England. Corporations masquerading as government. Which government can we trust? And, that same idea. This has some great graphics that explain some things very well about a trust, about how government is a trust. We've entrusted them to basically to serve us, and how that trust has been betrayed. That tends to happen when you empower someone. You have to stay right on top of it. For parents who might be participating in this tour, Alex Jones mentioned this book this morning, and it just perked my ears. 4 Arguments for the Elimination of Television. This is a somewhat older book, I think 1978 or something like that. But based on what Alex said, it's probably well worth reading. Set your kids free from the television. She Who Will Walk in the Dark is glad for your company today, and hopes that you are not experiencing any twinges of fear, but are filled with hope and joy, because the dawn is coming, and weeping sometimes may endure through the night, but joy comes in the morning. Take care, be free, and love one another.